My precious one, this is not a coincidence. The date March 8th is not random. It is marked in the spirit realm. What you thought was lost was never stolen. What you assumed was gone forever was never removed from your destiny. The miracle check you cried over, the blessing you mourned, the opportunity you believed slipped through your fingers, it has been found in a secret drawer. And Archangel Michael is standing beside you right now, revealing the exact location. Listen carefully. There is a drawer in your home that you rarely open. It is not the obvious one. It is not the top drawer. It is not the place where you keep daily things. It is tucked away, almost forgotten. And inside that hidden space is more than paper. There is confirmation. There is restoration. There is divine reversal. March 8th is when heaven exposes what was hidden. You see, the enemy wanted you to believe that delay meant denial, that silence meant rejection, that the closed door meant permanent loss. But Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard what belongs to you. He does not sleep. He does not abandon his post. And what he guards cannot be destroyed. Right now, something is shifting. You remember that moment when you searched for it, when your hands trembled, when you felt frustration rising because you were sure you placed it somewhere safe. That was not forgetfulness. That was spiritual interference. There was confusion around your mind because the blessing was under protection until the appointed time. And March 8th is that appointed time. This is why you felt a strange stirring in your spirit today. This is why you clicked on this message. This is why your heart is beating a little faster as you listen. Because deep inside, you know this is about you. The miracle check is symbolic. Yes, but it is also literal. For some of you, it represents actual finances that were delayed. Money owed. Approval pending. A document misplaced. A transfer held back. For others, it represents an answered prayer that you assumed God forgot. A contact. A callback. A breakthrough that seemed to disappear. But hear this clearly. Nothing that is written in your name can be erased without heaven's permission. Archangel Michael is showing you something specific. A drawer near wood. A piece of furniture that holds more than one compartment. Perhaps near your bedroom. Perhaps near a workspace. There is something tucked beneath something else. A folded paper. An envelope. A small container within the drawer. You thought you checked it, but you did not check it with revelation. The difference between searching in fear and searching with divine instruction is everything. When heaven reveals a location, clarity replaces chaos. Precision replaces panic. Do not ignore this nudge. There is a reason this message found you before March 8th. Preparation always comes before manifestation. Heaven announces before it releases. And here is the deeper truth. The secret drawer is not just furniture. It is the hidden place of your life where you stored hope then closed it because disappointment hurt too much. Archangel Michael is not only guiding your hands to open a physical drawer. He is guiding your courage to reopen faith. The miracle was never canceled. It was concealed. Concealed things are not lost things. Let that settle in your spirit. The delay trained you. The silence strengthened you. The waiting refined you. If the check had arrived earlier, you would not have recognized its true value. If the breakthrough had come before the battle matured you, you might have mishandled it. March 8th is a date of exposure. Exposure of hidden blessings. Exposure of divine protection. Exposure of what was kept safe when you were being prepared. And here is something even more powerful. Archangel Michael stands as a warrior of restoration. He does not just defend, he retrieves. He does not just fight, he reveals. And when he points to something, it is not suggestion. It is instruction. You may feel a strong urge after this message to physically look, to open something, to double-check something you dismissed before. That urge is not imagination. It is alignment. But do not rush in anxiety. Move in expectancy. There is a difference. Anxiety says, what if it's not there? Expectancy says, he showed me, so it must be there. March 8th carries a divine signature over your household, over your finances, over your peace. The miracle check you thought was lost has been found in a secret drawer, and heaven is asking you to respond. Not with doubt, not with hesitation, not with fear, but with obedience. Because sometimes the greatest miracles are not created, they are uncovered. Take this seriously. Something hidden is about to be revealed. And this is only the beginning. Beloved soul, something unusual is happening in your atmosphere right now. The moment you heard that March 8th is marked for revelation, a subtle resistance may have risen inside you. A whisper saying, what if this is just imagination? But that whisper is not your intuition. It is fear trying to protect you from hope. And hope is exactly what Archangel Michael is restoring. There is a spiritual principle you must understand. When heaven prepares to reveal what was hidden, distractions increase. You may suddenly feel busy. You may feel tired. You may feel tempted to ignore the inner nudge telling you to check again. This is not accidental. Whenever restoration is near, resistance tries to delay obedience. But this time, you will not delay. The secret drawer carries layers of meaning. Yes, it may be a physical location, a compartment beneath documents, a shelf inside a cabinet, a small box placed within another box. But it also represents an area of your life you stopped paying attention to. Something you filed away because disappointment felt safer than expectation. Archangel Michael is not dramatic. He is precise. When he reveals something, it is because divine timing has matured. March 8th is not just about finding a check. It is about proving to you that what is assigned to your name cannot be permanently misplaced. Think about the last time you searched. You were hurried. You were anxious. You were frustrated. You checked quickly, not deeply. You assumed absence because you did not see it immediately. But revelation requires stillness. This time, when you open that drawer, you will not open it in panic. You will open it with calm authority. You will move things carefully. You will lift what you once ignored. And something will feel different. A shift in your chest. A confirmation in your spirit. Because heaven is guiding your hands. There is also a financial dimension to this message. Some of you have been under pressure. Bills waiting. Responsibilities increasing. Silent prayers whispered at night when no one else could hear. You asked God for relief. You asked for provision. And when the answer did not appear instantly, you assumed it was denied. But provision delayed is not provision destroyed. Archangel Michael hath been guarding your supply line. There are things that were meant to reach you that faced obstacles. Not because you were unworthy, but because timing had to align with protection. If it had reached you earlier, it might have slipped through your fingers unnoticed. Now you are aware. And now you are attentive. And awareness changes everything. March 8th carries a release. Not chaotic, not explosive, but precise. Like a key turning quietly in a lock. Like a drawer sliding open without resistance. What was hidden will not fight to remain hidden. It hath been waiting. But listen closely to this next truth. When the miracle appears, do not treat it casually. Do not laugh it off. Do not minimize it. Acknowledge it. Speak gratitude immediately, because gratitude seals revelation. And let me say something important to you right here. If this message is stirring something deep inside your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Someone else needs to hear this confirmation. Like this video so it reaches the one who almost gave up. Share it with someone who has been searching for their own lost blessing. Comment what you are expecting heaven to restore. Subscribe and become part of this growing movement where Archangel Michael's guidance is declared boldly. When you engage, you are not just supporting a channel. You are amplifying a message of restoration. There is power in agreement. Now feel this carefully. The enemy wanted you to associate your home with stress, with lack, with tension. But March 8th marks a shift in atmosphere. Your home becomes a place of discovery, a place of confirmation, a place where heaven whispers, "I never forgot you." The drawer is not random. The location is not symbolic accident. It represents hidden capacity, hidden supply, hidden evidence of promise. And here is what most people miss. Sometimes we overlook blessings because they arrive in ordinary packaging. An envelope that looks plain, a document that appears routine, a paper ducked under something else. Miracles are not always glowing. Sometimes they look simple, until you recognize their impact. When Archangel Michael reveals the exact location, it will feel undeniable. A sudden clarity, a mental image, a memory resurfacing with detail you did not have before. Follow it. Do not overthink it. March 8th is closer than you realize, and preparation is happening now. Your faith is being strengthened so that when the drawer opens, your heart is ready to receive without shock. Something was never lost. It was protected. And very soon, you will understand why it had to remain hidden until now. Hold that anticipation in your spirit, because what is coming next will make the timing undeniable. Chosen one, there is a sacred tension building around this revelation, and you can feel it. It is the kind of tension that comes before a breakthrough cracks open the ordinary. March 8th is not just a date on a calendar. It is a line drawn in the spirit. On one side of that line is confusion, searching, and silent disappointment. On the other side is clarity, restoration, and undeniable proof that heaven never misplaced your blessing. The miracle check you thought was lost has been found in a secret drawer. And Archangel Michael is not showing you this to excite you temporarily. He is showing you this to restore your trust permanently. There is something deeply personal about losing what was meant to help you. It feels almost like betrayal. You did everything right. You placed it somewhere safe. You told yourself you would remember. And when you could not find it, you questioned your memory. You questioned your awareness. Some of you even questioned your worth, wondering if maybe you were not meant to receive it after all. But listen carefully now. What belongs to you by divine decree cannot vanish without purpose. Archangel Michael has been standing guard over more than you realize. When you thought something slipped through your hands, heaven had already secured it. There are moments when God allows concealment for protection. If the blessing had been visible earlier, it might have been mishandled by others. It might have been taken advantage of. It might have drawn attention at the wrong time. Hidden does not mean forgotten. Hidden means reserved. And reservation implies intention. March 8th carries intention. Some of you are being shown flashes of memory right now. A drawer near your bed. A cabinet in your hallway. A desk that holds paperwork you have not organized in months. You may suddenly recall placing something under another item for safekeeping. That memory resurfacing is not random. It is revelation. Archangel Michael operates with precision. He is not vague. When he reveals location, he also releases courage. You will feel calm when you approach that space. Not frantic. Not desperate. Calm. And here is something powerful. The act of opening that drawer becomes symbolic of reopening trust. You closed that part of your heart when you believed the miracle was gone. You told yourself not to expect too much again. You trained yourself to lower hope so disappointment would hurt less. But heaven is undoing that survival mechanism. You were not created to live guarded from blessings. You were created to receive them. This restoration is not only about finances. It is about dignity. It is about confirmation. It is about proving to your own heart that God's timing is exact. March 8th is not early and it is not late. It is appointed. And when you find what you thought was lost, something inside you will shift permanently. You will begin to question every other loss in your life. You will start to wonder what else was concealed for a later unveiling. You will realize that delay was never punishment. It was preparation. Archangel Michael is showing you the exact location because obedience unlocks acceleration. Once you respond to this instruction, other doors begin to align. This is the first drawer, but it is not the last revelation. There are layers to your restoration. As you prepare for March 8th, posture your heart in gratitude before you even see the evidence. Gratitude before manifestation signals mature faith. It says, I trust the one who guards my blessing. And now, I want you to act in agreement. Type I receive restoration in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit already sensed. Blessing code 3481 has just been activated over your household. Do not type it casually. Type it with expectation. Because agreement releases alignment. And now, as this truth settles into you, understand something deeper. This message is not reaching only you. There are countless others who believe their miracles disappeared. There are souls who closed their drawers of hope and walked away discouraged. When you engage, when you stand in agreement, you help this message reach them. The same way a seed must be sown into soil to produce harvest, this word must be carried outward to produce awakening. Scripture declares, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Hear that as God speaking directly to you now. As you open your hand, heaven opens its storehouses. I feel led to say this clearly. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or even through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are fueling a rescue. You are helping Archangel Michael's message of protection and restoration reach the one who almost gave up last night. You are becoming a river, not a reservoir. Right now, you may feel that inner prompting, that first-person whisper rising in you saying, I want to be part of this. That is not pressure. That is invitation. This is a prophetic moment of participation. Do not hesitate when obedience calls. Act swiftly, to boldly. Release your seed into good soil and watch what returns to your own household. As you give, may your drawers never be empty. As you support this mission, may hidden blessings locate you with speed. Step into this moment and respond. The drawer is waiting, and so is your next level of faith. Let me know when you are ready to continue. Faithful heart, what is unfolding around March 8th is bigger than a single discovery. It is the beginning of a pattern shift in your life. When one hidden thing is revealed, it sets a spiritual precedent. He announces to the unseen realm that concealment season is over and manifestation season has begun. You may not realize it yet, but the moment you open that secret drawer and find what you thought was lost, something ancient breaks off your mindset. A cycle of expected disappointment ends. A habit of bracing for loss dissolves. Archangel Michael does not just retrieve objects, he dismantles false beliefs that formed around past pain. Think about how many times you told yourself, "I always lose important things," or "blessings never stay." Those statements may have felt harmless, but they shape your expectation, and expectation influences experience. This is why this revelation is so strategic. Archangel Michael is not only restoring a check, he's restoring your narrative. The enemy tried to weave a story around you, that you are forgetful, unlucky, overlooked, were spiritually delayed. But heaven has a different record. In heaven's record, you are protected, you are remembered, you are guided. There is something significant about the phrase secret drawer. Secrets imply intention. Drawers imply storage. What was stored was never discarded. It was preserved. Preservation means value. If something is preserved, it is because it matters. You matter. And what carries your name carries importance. As March 8th approaches, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to subtle reminders. You may find yourself walking past certain areas of your home and suddenly feeling drawn to them. You may sense a quiet thought saying, "Check there." Do not dismiss it. Archangel Michael communicates with clarity, but often through gentle nudges rather than loud interruptions. The peace you feel will be your confirmation. And when the moment comes, I want you to move slowly. Open the drawer intentionally. Remove each item carefully. Do not rush. The act itself is sacred. You are participating in a divine unveiling. When your eyes see what your heart had almost given up on, pause. Breathe. Let gratitude rise naturally. Because gratitude is what seals the lesson into your spirit. This is not just about relief. It is about alignment. For some of you, the miracle check represents more than money. It represents validation. Proof that your efforts were seen. Evidence that something you worked for was not wasted. When it surfaces, it will feel like heaven whispering, "I saw everything." Archangel Michael stands as a witness to your perseverance. There were nights you doubted quietly. Days you smiled outwardly while worrying inwardly. Moments you questioned if you were forgotten. But you were being prepared, not ignored. Preparation often feels like silence. But silence is not absence. It is incubation. March 8th is an incubation breaking open. And here is something profound. Once you experience this restoration, your faith will expand. You will start believing for bigger things. The drawer becomes a symbol that nothing assigned to you can permanently disappear. It may shift locations. It may be concealed temporarily. But it cannot be erased. The truth will change how you pray. You will pray with authority instead of uncertainty. You will declare instead of plead. You will expect instead of doubt. Archangel Michael is strengthening your spiritual posture through this experience. You are being trained to respond to divine instruction quickly and confidently, because greater instructions are coming. This is a small rehearsal for larger revelations ahead. There are doors you have not even imagined yet, contracts you have not yet signed, opportunities still forming behind the scenes. The retrieval of this check is confirmation that unseen arrangements are being handled on your behalf. Heaven does not misplace destinies, and neither does it forget addresses. As this understanding settles into you, guard your speech. Do not speak negatively about your situation between now and March 8th. Do not rehearse fear. Do not revisit disappointment. Speak expectation over your home. Speak protection over your finances. Speak clarity over your mind. Words create atmosphere. An atmosphere influences manifestation. Archangel Michael operates powerfully in atmospheres of faith. When your environment carries expectation instead of anxiety, revelation flows more freely. There is a reason this message found you before the date arrives. Heaven prepares the heart before it reveals the evidence. You are being positioned to receive without shock and without disbelief. Something was kept safe while you were being strengthened. And very soon, the physical proof will match the spiritual promise. Stay attentive. Stay calm. Stay expectant. Because the unveiling is closer than you think. Steady your heart now, because what is about to unfold carries more weight than you first understood. March 8th is not just a recovery date. It is a revelation point. And revelation always changes identity. When you discover that the miracle check was never truly lost, you will begin to question every narrative that told you otherwise. There is a psychological shift that happens when something valuable disappears. You start doubting yourself. You replay the moment. You analyze your memory. You quietly criticize your own awareness. And over time, that self-doubt becomes a pattern. It leaks into other areas of your life. You second-guess decisions. You hesitate before acting. You fear misplacing opportunities. Archangel Michael is not just restoring a document. He is dismantling hesitation. The enemy wanted the disappearance to plant insecurity. But heaven used the concealment to build resilience. You survived the anxiety of thinking it was gone. You endured the pressure. You adjusted. You kept moving. And that endurance strengthened something inside you that you did not even realize was forming. Now comes the reward of that endurance. There is something sacred about restoration that follows patience. If you had found the check immediately, you would have felt relief. But because time passed, because you wrestled internally, because you processed disappointment, the restoration will feel deeper. It will not just bring relief. It will bring understanding. You will understand that protection sometimes looks like absence. Archangel Michael's role in your life is more active than you have recognized. He does not merely stand at a distance. He intervenes in timing. He shields what must not be exposed prematurely. He ensures that when something surfaces, it aligns with your readiness. And readiness is crucial. Some of you were not ready to handle what the check represents when you first misplaced it. You may have been emotionally overwhelmed. You may have been distracted. You may have used it quickly without wisdom. But now you have matured. Now you have learned discipline. Now you understand value. March 8th meets a different version of you. This is why the retrieval is powerful. It proves growth. You are not the same person who first placed the check into the drawer. You are more aware, more discerning, more spiritually sensitive. And that sensitivity is what allowed this message to reach you at the right moment. Notice how your intuition has sharpened lately. You sense things before they happen. You feel internal nudges. You are becoming more attentive to subtle direction. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. Archangel Michael strengthens awareness before unveiling evidence. And here is something you must not overlook. The secret drawer may also represent relationships, ideas, or talents you placed aside. There were dreams you quietly folded and tucked away because circumstances felt discouraging. There were skills you stopped using because appreciation was absent. There were connections you withdrew from because trust was shaken. The physical discovery on March 8th will act as a metaphorical permission slip to revisit those hidden areas. When you open that drawer and find what you thought was gone, it will whisper, "Look again at everything you assumed was over." Restoration spreads. Once you see it happen in one area, you will start believing for it in others. And belief activates momentum. Be mindful of your environment as the date approaches. Declutter your space. Bring order where there has been chaos. Clean areas you have neglected. This is not superstition. It is preparation. When physical space becomes orderly, mental clarity increases. And clarity supports revelation. Archangel Michael moves in spaces that welcome intention. There is also an emotional release attached to this moment. When you find the check, you may feel tears rising unexpectedly. Not because of the money itself, but because of what it symbolizes. Being remembered, being protected, being guided. Allow that emotion. It is healing. Healing often arrives quietly, disguised as ordinary events. But its impact is profound. The days leading to March 8th may feel charged. You may sense anticipation building. Do not let impatience replace expectation. Patience sustains the peace, and peace keeps your spirit receptive. This is not about forcing an outcome. It is about aligning with a revealed one. If doubt tries to whisper again, answer it firmly. Say, "What is assigned to me cannot be erased." Repeat it until it feels natural. Because repetition requires belief. Archangel Michael is teaching you a lesson through this experience that will echo beyond a single date. He is showing you that loss is not always what it appears to be. Sometimes it is simply delayed discovery. And delayed discovery carries deeper gratitude. March 8th stands as a marker in your journey. Before it, uncertainty. After it, clarity. Hold steady. Keep your spirit calm. Let expectation mature quietly within you. The drawer is closer than you think, and so is the realization that you were never forgotten. Listen closely now, because the atmosphere around you is tightening with purpose. The closer March 8th comes, the more intentional your awareness must become. This is the stage where many people miss their miracle, not because it was not prepared, but because distraction clouded their focus. Distraction is subtle. It does not always look dramatic. It looks like busyness. It looks like overthinking. It looks like convincing yourself that you have already checked every possible place. But Archangel Michael is not vague in his instruction. When he reveals that the miracle check has been found in a secret drawer, it is because the exact location is being illuminated in the spirit before it is confirmed in the physical. You may begin noticing small signs. A drawer that sticks slightly when you pass by it. A thought that repeats in your mind at random times during the day. A sudden urge to reorganize a specific piece of furniture. These are not coincidences. These are prompts. But you must respond with calm confidence, not frantic energy. There is a difference between chasing something and receiving something. Chasing comes from fear of loss. Receiving comes from assurance of ownership. And this belongs to you. Archangel Michael guards what belongs to you until the appointed unveiling. That means the miracle check was never outside divine supervision. Even when you felt careless. Even when you blamed yourself. Even when you replayed the moment of misplacement in your mind, heaven had already secured the outcome. And now comes your part. Alignment. Alignment means adjusting your posture internally. Stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Stop imagining disappointment. Replace those thoughts with expectancy. Speak quietly within yourself. It was preserved for me. Because preservation implies purpose, and purpose implies timing. March 8th is not random. It carries a completion energy. What was unsettled becomes settled. What was uncertain becomes confirmed. What was misplaced becomes position. But here is something deeper that you must not ignore. When you find the check, the lesson is not to cling to it in fear of losing it again. The lesson is to trust that what is meant for you does not disappear permanently. This is about strengthening your spiritual backbone. There are greater responsibilities ahead, greater resources, greater opportunities. If a small delay shook your confidence before, imagine what larger delays could have done. This experience is building resilience so that future waiting seasons will not disturb your peace. Archangel Michael is preparing you for abundance by first teaching you steadiness. And let me pause here to say something important. If this message is speaking directly into your situation, do not stay silent. Like this video so that it reaches someone who is on the verge of giving up. Share it with someone who has been searching for something they believed was lost. Comment what you are expecting to find or restore. Subscribe and become part of this community where divine guidance is declared boldly. Join the membership if you feel called to go deeper, because there is strength in collective faith. When you engage, you are amplifying hope beyond your own home. Now return your focus to what is unfolding. The secret drawer may not be the most obvious location. It may be layered beneath papers, envelopes, or items you rarely touch. It may require you to remove everything before you see what was hidden underneath. That process itself is symbolic. Sometimes revelation requires clearing surface clutter. Clutter can represent old thoughts, outdated beliefs, unnecessary worries. As you physically move items aside, imagine yourself also moving aside fear and doubt. Create space for clarity. And when your hand finally touches the envelope, when your eyes confirm what your heart has been preparing for, pause before reacting. Let the realization sink in fully. This is a sacred confirmation moment between you and heaven. Gratitude should be your first response. Gratitude protects what is restored. After March 8th, watch how your mindset shifts. You will begin trusting subtle guidance more readily. You will hesitate less when intuition speaks. You will understand that divine instruction often arrives quietly before manifestation arrives visibly. That understanding is priceless. You are not being taught to depend on luck. You are being trained to depend on alignment. Archangel Michael is strengthening your discernment so that future blessings do not feel accidental but recognized. Between now and the unveiling, guard your energy. Avoid unnecessary conflict. Limit exposure to negativity. Stay centered. The calmer your spirit, the clearer the revelation. There is momentum building behind the scenes. What felt stalled is actually synchronizing. What felt delayed is actually being positioned. Trust the process unfolding. And hold your anticipation steady, because what is about to surface will confirm that you were never abandoned, never forgotten, and never overlooked. Something protected is about to be revealed in plain sight. Quiet your thoughts for a moment and breathe deeply, because what is happening now is refinement. You have moved from confusion into expectation, from doubt into preparation. But this stage requires something even more powerful than belief. It requires trust without physical evidence. Trust is different from hope. Hope wishes. Trust rests. Archangel Michael is teaching you to rest before the revelation, to remain steady before confirmation, to carry peace even when the drawer has not yet been opened. This is spiritual maturity. There was a time when you would have rushed immediately, torn through every cabinet, emptied every compartment in frustration. But now you are different. And now you feel guided rather than desperate. and that shift alone proves growth. The miracle check you thought was lost has already been secured. Its presence is not in question. The only variable left is your response when it appears. And that response matters more than you realize. Because the discovery on March 8th is not only about what you find. It is about who you become in the finding. There are seasons in life where heaven allows small mysteries to train you for larger ones. If you learn to respond correctly here, greater revelations will be entrusted to you later. Archangel Michael does not just reveal locations. He reveals character. Ask yourself honestly, when the check went missing, what surfaced inside you? Was it panic? Self-blame? Anger? Resentment? Those emotions were not proof of weakness. They were exposure points, areas that needed strengthening. And through this waiting period, you have strengthened. Notice how you are calmer now than you were at the beginning. Notice how your breathing is steady when you think about March 8th. That steadiness is evidence that something inside you has stabilized. Stability attracts increase. When heaven sees that you can handle delay without collapsing, it trusts you with expansion. The secret drawer also represents hidden strength within you. Just as the check was concealed, so was your resilience. You did not know how strong you were until something valuable seemed absent. You did not know how deeply you could endure uncertainty until you had to. But you endured. And endurance builds authority. Archangel Michael operates in authority. And when you align with his guidance, you begin carrying that same quiet authority in your decisions. You stop second-guessing every step. You move with inner certainty. Between now and the unveiling, protect your mindset fiercely. If someone around you speaks negatively about finances, redirect the conversation internally. If circumstances attempt to trigger anxiety, return to calm breathing and repeat to yourself, "What is mine is preserved." Because it is. There is also a lesson about timing embedded here. You may wonder why March 8th specifically. Why not earlier? Why not later? The answer is alignment. There are invisible threads connecting this date to other events unfolding in your life. A payment cycle, a conversation, an opportunity, a need that will arise shortly after. Heaven synchronizes details you cannot see yet. Archangel Michael sees the full pattern. You see only fragments. That is why trust is required. And here is something subtle but important. When you open that drawer and retrieve the check, do not immediately rush to spend it. Sit with it first. Reflect. Ask yourself what wisdom this experience has deposited inside you. Because the greater treasure is not the amount written on paper. The greater treasure is the revelation of protection. Protection changes perspective. You will start noticing that other things in your life were also protected without your awareness. Situations that could have turned worse but did not. Delays that prevented larger problems. Conversations that ended before escalating. You were guarded more than you realized. This realization builds gratitude, and gratitude unlocks abundance. As March 8th approaches, you may feel a strange mix of anticipation and reverence. That is appropriate. This is not superstition. It is spiritual synchronization. Archangel Michael is showing you the exact location not to create suspense, but to cultivate awareness. You are learning to listen, to discern, to respond. These skills will carry into every area of your future. There is a new level of confidence forming inside you. A quiet knowing that you are not navigating life alone. That unseen assistance is active. That protection is real. Let that confidence settle deeply. Because once you experience this restoration, fear of permanent loss will lose its grip on you. You will understand that temporary concealment is sometimes part of divine strategy, and strategy always serves purpose. Hold steady in these final moments of preparation. Keep your environment peaceful. Keep your thoughts disciplined. Keep your heart grateful in advance. A drawer waits. The confirmation waits. The realization waits. And when it arrives, you will not only recover what was hidden, you will step into a stronger version of yourself. Be ready. There is a sacred stillness surrounding you now, and it is not accidental. It is the calm before confirmation. March 8th is no longer just approaching. It is pressing against your reality. You can almost feel the shift in the air, as if something long delayed is about to step into plain sight. This is the hour where many people sabotage their own breakthrough by slipping back into doubt. The mind begins to question, what if I misunderstood? What if nothing is there? But that voice is not wisdom. It is old fear trying to reassert control. And you have outgrown that voice. Archangel Michael has not guided you this far to leave you uncertain at the final moment. The exact location has already been impressed upon your awareness. A drawer, the piece of furniture, the subtle inner image that keeps returning. That repetition is confirmation. Repetition is how heaven emphasizes instruction. You may have noticed that the thought of a specific drawer keeps surfacing when you least expect it. While washing dishes, while walking past a hallway, while sitting quietly. That is not random memory. That is divine prompting. And here is something profound. This experience is not only about finding what was hidden. It is about proving that your discernment is real. You are not imagining guidance. You are not inventing signs. You are being trained to recognize subtle direction. Archangel Michael strengthens those who listen. March 8th will feel ordinary on the outside, but extraordinary on the inside. You may wake up sensing something different, even if nothing visibly changes at first. There will be a quiet pull toward action. Not rushed. Not frantic. Yes, certain. When you open the drawer, you may need to remove more than you expect. Sometimes blessings are layered beneath routine. Papers on top. Objects placed casually. Dust gathered over time. But beneath those layers, preservation remains intact. The miracle check you thought was lost has not deteriorated. It has not been damaged. It has not been erased. It hath been waiting for alignment. Alignment between timing and maturity. There is also a spiritual law at work here. When something is hidden by divine permission, it cannot be discovered prematurely. And when the appointed time arrives, it cannot remain concealed. That is why this moment carries inevitability. Do not underestimate the emotional weight of this discovery. It may seem small from the outside, but internally it will feel monumental. It will confirm that you are seen, that you are guided, that you are protected. And once that confirmation settles into you, a deeper boldness will emerge. You will begin trusting your intuition in other areas. You will make decisions with less hesitation. You will move forward without second-guessing every step. This is growth. Archangel Michael is not only restoring what was misplaced, he is restoring your confidence in divine partnership. As the date unfolds, remain grounded. Do not announce your expectation prematurely to skeptics. Not everyone will understand the spiritual dimension of this experience. Some will dismiss it as coincidence. But you will know better. Because you felt the preparation. You sensed the prompting. You experienced the alignment. That cannot be faked. And now, As this revelation reaches its peak, I want you to stand in agreement once more. Type "My blessing is preserved" in the comments if you feel this confirmation deep in your spirit. Blessing code 5729 has just been released over your home. Declare it with confidence, not uncertainty. Words spoken in agreement create spiritual reinforcement. And as you stand in that agreement, understand something important. This message does not exist for you alone. There are countless souls who believe their miracles expired, who assume that if something did not appear immediately, it was permanently lost. When you engage with this word, you help carry restoration beyond your own walls. Scripture says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it will return to you." Hear that as a living voice speaking directly into your present moment. When you release support into fertile ground, harvest responds. If you feel that stirring inside, that first-person whisper rising within you saying, "I want to help this reach others," do not ignore it. This is not about funding content. This is about fueling deliverance. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you become a participant in someone else's restoration story. This is a prophetic act, not a casual gesture. As you give, may hidden blessings accelerate toward you. As you support this mission, may protection surround your household with greater strength. Step forward boldly and act on that prompting. Now steady your heart, because the unveiling is no longer distant. It is immediate. The drawer is waiting, and the proof that you were never forgotten is about to rest in your hands. Stand still in this moment, because you are standing at the edge of manifestation. Everything that has been building internally is about to meet physical confirmation. The anticipation you feel is not imagination. It is alignment reaching completion. March 8th carries weight now. Not pressure, but gravity. The kind of gravity that pulls hidden things into visibility. You have walked through doubt, preparation, correction of mindset, and strengthening of faith. Now comes execution. When you approach the drawer, do not treat it casually. Even if it looks ordinary, even if it sits in a familiar corner of your home, the ordinary is often the container for extraordinary confirmation. Archangel Michael has guided you through subtle impressions for a reason. This is about developing your ability to recognize divine direction in everyday spaces. You do not need dramatic signs. You need awareness. And awareness has been sharpened within you. You may feel a quiet confidence rise as you move toward that location. Not excitement that feels chaotic, but steadiness that feels assured. That steadiness is your confirmation that the moment is right. Open the drawer slowly. Remove what is on top. Notice how simple the act feels. And then, as layers shift, as papers lift, as objects are moved aside, your eyes will catch something familiar. An envelope. A folded document. A shape that triggers recognition before your mind fully processes it. Pause there. That pause is sacred, because in that instant, everything changes. The narrative of loss dissolves. The memory of frustration softens. The weight you carrying quietly releases. The miracle check you thought was lost was never outside divine supervision. It was placed beyond your immediate sight, but never beyond your reach. When you hold it in your hands, allow gratitude to flood you fully. Not just for the financial aspect, but for the revelation, for the lesson, for the protection you did not see working behind the scenes. Archangel Michael's role in this was precise. Protection without panic, preservation without decay, timing without error. This is what divine guardianship looks like. And now listen carefully to what comes next, because this part matters deeply. After the discovery, Resist the urge to rush into noise. Do not immediately call everyone. Do not immediately broadcast it. Sit with it privately first. Let the realization settle into your spirit. Ask yourself what this experience taught you. It taught you that delay is not denial. It taught you that what is assigned to you can be concealed but not canceled. It taught you that your intuition, when aligned with divine guidance, is trustworthy. These lessons are worth more than the amount written on paper, and there is a ripple effect that follows this moment. Once you experience tangible restoration, your faith expands beyond this situation. You will begin revisiting other areas where you assumed something was permanently lost. Opportunities, innovations, ideas, confidence. You will question the permanence of every past disappointment. That is growth. Archangel Michael did not orchestrate this merely to return a check. He orchestrated this to return perspective. Perspective changes posture, and posture influences destiny. When you stand with the awareness that heaven guards what belongs to you, you stop living in fear of loss. You stop clinging desperately. You stop assuming worst outcomes. Instead, you move forward boldly. There may even be secondary confirmations following March 8th. Small signs that reinforce the lesson. Conversations that align. Unexpected encouragement. Financial adjustments that feel synchronized. Do not dismiss these as coincidence. They are reinforcement. Heaven confirms what it initiates. As you deposit or utilize the check wisely, carry the memory of how it resurfaced. Let that memory anchor your future faith. The next time something feels delayed, remember this moment. Remember the drawer. Remember the preservation. Because this will not be the last time divine timing surprises you. You are entering a season where hidden things surface in your favor, where overlooked details become advantages, where past assumptions are corrected by present evidence. This is a shift in trajectory. Archangel Michael's involvement in your life is not symbolic. It is strategic. Protection, guidance, timing, revelation. These are active forces, not abstract ideas. And now that you have witnessed one layer of it, your sensitivity to it will increase. Carry this experience carefully. Guard it. Reflect on it. Because what happened in a simple drawer was actually a demonstration of a much larger truth. You are not navigating life alone. You were guarded when you did not see it. You were preserved when you felt uncertain. And you were remembered when you questioned it. Let that understanding settle deeply, because what follows this confirmation will require even greater confidence. And now, you are ready for it. Now that the confirmation has touched your hands, a new responsibility settles on your shoulders. Revelation always carries responsibility. When you witness protection so precise, timing so exact, and guidance so clear, you cannot return to casual living. You cannot return to careless thinking. Something inside you has awakened. The discovery of the miracle check was never just about finances. It was about alignment with divine instruction. It was about proving that what is preserved for you will surface at the appointed time. And now that you have seen it with your own eyes, you must guard this awareness fiercely. Because the enemy will attempt something subtle. Not dramatic loss. Not obvious confusion. But distraction. Distraction that tries to make you forget how accurate the guidance was. Distraction that minimizes the miracle into coincidence. But you know what you felt. You know how specific the prompting was. You know the drawer that kept coming to mind. You know the peace that accompanied the action. That cannot be dismissed. Archangel Michael does not operate in chaos. He operates in clarity. And now that you have experienced that clarity, you must begin applying it to other areas of your life. Start listening more carefully to your intuition. When you feel prompted to double-check something, do it. When you feel directed to pause before making a decision, pause. When you sense the timing is not right, wait. This experience has sharpened your discernment for a reason. You have stepped into a higher level of spiritual sensitivity, and sensitivity requires stewardship. There will be opportunities ahead that resemble the moment before you opened that drawer. Moments where something feels hidden but not gone. Situations where others assume loss but you sense preservation. Trust this sense, because now you have evidence that concealment does not equal cancellation. This lesson will echo beyond finances. It will influence relationships, business decisions, creative ideas, and personal growth. You will hesitate less. You will fear loss less. You will operate from confidence instead of anxiety. Confidence rooted in experience is powerful. Archangel Michael has shown you that unseen protection is active even when visible evidence is absent. That truth alone changes how you move through life. And right now, I need to say something important to you. If this message walked you step by step into a real revelation, do not stay silent. Like this video so others who are in the middle of doubt can find it. Share it with someone who believes their opportunity disappeared. Comment what this experience taught you. Subscribe so you continue receiving guidance that strengthens discernment. Join the membership if you feel called to grow deeper in understanding. When you engage, you extend this atmosphere of restoration beyond your own story. And before you move on, hold on for a moment, because what I am about to say matters deeply. The next season unfolding in your life will require even stronger trust than this one did. What you just experienced was preparation, a smaller demonstration to build your foundation for larger responsibilities ahead. You will thank yourself for staying attentive, because greater alignment is coming. Now return your focus inward. After the discovery, you may have felt relief, but beneath relief there was something else. A quiet realization that you are being guided more closely than you previously believed. That realization is the true treasure. Because when you believe you are guided, you act differently. You plan differently. You respond differently. The fear of permanent loss loses its grip. The anxiety of uncertainty weakens. The need to control every outcome softens. You begin moving with a calm authority. Archangel Michael's involvement in your life is not symbolic decoration. It is strategic intervention. And once you recognize intervention, you must honor it through attentiveness. Guard your speech carefully from now on. Do not declare that you always lose things. Do not joke about misfortune. Words create patterns. Replace old language with new declarations. What belongs to me is preserved. Repeat it until it becomes natural. There will be moments soon when another situation feels uncertain. When something seems delayed again. When circumstances appear unclear. In that moment, remember the drawer. Remember the preservation. Remember the timing. Because this was not an isolated event. It was training. Training for abundance. Training for authority. Training for greater assignments. You are stepping into a season where hidden favor surfaces unexpectedly. But you must remain grounded. Remain grateful. Remain attentive. Do not grow complacent after one confirmation. Build on it. Archangel Michael has revealed that what you thought was lost was never outside divine protection. Carry the truth forward boldly. Because what is coming next will require the same trust, the same steadiness, and the same willingness to respond when prompted. And this time, you will respond even faster. Pause for a moment and truly measure what just happened in your life. Do not rush past it. Do not reduce it to a lucky moment. What unfolded was not random recovery. It was orchestrated revelation. The miracle check you thought was lost did not simply reappear. It surfaced at the exact appointed time, after your heart had been refined, after your perspective had been corrected, and after your trust had been strengthened. That sequence matters. When the check first went missing, you felt the weight of uncertainty. You questioned your memory. You replayed the moment you placed it somewhere safe. You may have even felt frustration toward yourself. In that early stage, your mind searched for logic, but your spirit felt unsettled. There was tension between what you believed and what you saw. Now look at the difference. After the unveiling, something inside you stabilized. The panic that once rose so quickly has quieted. The fear of permanent loss has loosened its grip. And in its place stands something stronger, assurance. Assurance built on experience is different from borrowed faith. Before this, you may have believed in protection as an idea. Now you have witnessed it as reality. Archangel Michael did not intervene symbolically. He intervened strategically. He allowed concealment without destruction. He permitted delay without cancellation. He preserved what belonged to you without announcing it prematurely. And that reveals something profound about how divine protection works in your life. Protection does not always look dramatic. It often looks like silence. It looks like something being placed just out of sight until the correct alignment arrives. It looks like confusion that later turns into clarity. You misunderstood concealment as loss because you could not yet see the timing behind it. But now you can. And this is where transformation deepens. If you move forward without reflecting, you will miss the greater gift hidden inside the event. The greater gift is not the amount written on the check. It is the correction of your internal narrative. You are no longer someone who always loses important things. You are someone whose blessings are preserved. That shift in identity is powerful. Identity determines expectation. Expectation shapes response. Response influences outcomes. From this day forward, when something feels delayed, you will not immediately assume disaster. You will remember the drawer. You will remember the layering of items. You will remember how ordinary it looked on the outside and how extraordinary it felt in the moment of discovery. Memory becomes your anchor. There will be future situations where clarity is temporarily withheld. Projects that stall. Conversations that feel unresolved. Financial matters that seem uncertain. In those moments, the old version of you would have spiraled into anxiety. The new version pauses. The new version says, "If it is mine, it is preserved." That sentence alone will protect your peace. Archangel Michael's guidance in this situation was precise. You received impressions about a specific location. You felt a repeated thought about a certain drawer. You sensed calm when you approached it. Those subtle signals were training exercises for your discernment. Discernment is not loud. It is consistent. And now that your discernment has been validated, you must nurture it. Pay attention to recurring thoughts that carry peace. Notice internal nudges that feel steady rather than frantic. Learn to distinguish between fear-driven impulses and clarity-driven direction. This experience has sharpened that ability within you. But there is another layer that goes deeper. The secret drawer symbolized parts of your life you closed emotionally. Areas where disappointment caused you to retreat. Dreams you folded away because progress felt slow. Talents you set aside because recognition was delayed. Conversations you avoided because vulnerability felt risky. The discovery of the check is an invitation to reopen those drawers too. If one preserved blessing waited quietly beneath the surface, what else might be waiting? What ideas did you abandon too quickly? What goals did you shove because results did not appear instantly? What parts of yourself did you underestimate? Concealment is not cancellation. A truth extends beyond one event. Archangel Michael's involvement in this moment signals that your life is being guided with intention. Threads are being woven behind the scenes. Timing is being adjusted in ways you cannot fully see yet. Protection is operating even when perception is limited. When you internalize this, your posture changes. You walk differently. You decide differently. You speak differently. You no longer declare defeat at the first sign of delay. You no longer label temporary absence as permanent loss. You allow space for hidden preservation, and that mindset prepares you for greater responsibility. Because greater responsibility requires emotional steadiness. It requires patience. It requires trust without constant reassurance. This experience was a rehearsal for bigger assignments ahead. If you can handle a concealed check with maturity, you will handle concealed opportunities with strength. If you can wait through minor uncertainty without collapsing, you will endure larger waiting seasons with composure. That is growth. That is preparation. That is alignment. Do not let this lesson fade into memory as a simple story. Anchor it deeply. Revisit it often. Let it reshape how you interpret future events. Because what happened in a quiet drawer was more than recovery. It was proof that you are guided. Proof that you are guarded. Proof that what belongs to you can be hidden for a season, but it cannot be erased. And with that awareness, you are stepping into the next phase of your life stronger than before. Beloved of heaven, this is the sealing of the revelation. What began as a question has now become a testimony. What started as confusion has matured into conviction. The miracle check you thought was lost has been found in a secret drawer, and through that single act of recovery, your entire perspective has shifted. But understand this clearly, the check was never the true miracle. You were. The transformation inside you is the greater evidence of divine intervention. Before this experience, you wrestled with doubt more easily. You questioned timing more quickly. You feared permanent loss more deeply. But now you carry something different. You carry proof. Proof that concealment is not cancellation. Proof that delay is not denial. Proof that protection operates even when perception fails. Archangel Michael did not simply guide your hand to a drawer. He guided your heart out of fear. He guided your mind out of self-doubt. He guided your spirit into alignment with a higher understanding of how divine timing works. And this is where everything comes together. March 8th was not about a date on a calendar. It was about a shift in consciousness. And before and after. Before, you interpreted silence as absence. After, you recognize silence as incubation. Before, you assume loss when something disappeared. After, you allow room for preservation. That shift will affect every area of your life. You will approach finances differently. Not with panic, but with stewardship. You will approach opportunities differently. Not with desperation, but with discernment. You will approach delays differently. Not with frustration, but with patience. Because now you know something you did not fully know before. What is assigned to you by divine authority cannot be erased by temporary concealment. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over your path. That does not mean you will never face confusion again. It means confusion will never have the final word. It means hidden things can still work in your favor. It means timing is being managed beyond your limited sight. And as you step forward from this moment, carry the lesson boldly. Speak differently about your life. Think differently about your future. Expect preservation where you once expected loss. There are greater assignments ahead of you, larger responsibilities, bigger revelations. This was preparation, a demonstration in miniature of how protection operates on a grand scale. If heaven can preserve a single check in a forgotten drawer, imagine how carefully it can preserve your destiny. Let that sink into you. Your destiny is not fragile. Your calling is not easily erased. Your blessings are not casually misplaced. You are guided. You are guided. You are remembered. Now stand in agreement one final time. Type "I am preserved and protected" in the comments if this testimony has awakened something unshakable inside you. Blessing code 8094 is now activated over your life. Do not type it lightly. Type it with authority, because agreement seals revelation. And as this message closes, hear this deeply. The same way that hidden provision was waiting in that drawer, there are hidden souls waiting to be reminded that they are not forgotten. When you choose to sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are releasing light into someone else's secret drawer of despair. The Lord declares, as you water others, you yourself will be watered. Let that promise speak directly to you now. If you feel that stirring inside saying, "I want to help this reach more hearts," that is your moment of obedience. This is not a donation. It is a seed placed into fertile ground for eternal impact. As you act, may open heavens respond over your household, and may preserved blessings accelerate toward you. Step forward and sow boldly. The drawer was opened. A proof was revealed. A lesson was anchored. And now you move forward no longer fearing what is hidden, because you know that what is yours will always find its way back into your hands.